Welcome to the Cour de Grange Diaries. I'm Capella from Ryan, British author and screenplay writer. This is a follow-on from the first part of episode 2, so we're still on October, and it's been a long day because I've done nothing but film yesterday's content, which was 40 minutes, and I did into 20, and here we are again. So I think where I left off was something like being invited over to Anne and Tom's with my husband Colin in October, and that was the evening it went really weird. It wasn't the evening that he had admitted to destroying a woman's business by hacking into her website and putting up slander until she paid him money. So basically he extorted money out of her, which is also a criminal offence, and there's a lot of criminality in this property, guys. That is the reason what's really prompted me to this, because I've had everything double and triple checked by solicitors or lawyers or wherever you may be, and just to just have that reaffirmed what I already knew. But it's just nice to have that by people that are qualified to tell you. So so it's about time that people knew what goes on behind the gates here. So it was another time in October. It was the second time we were at their house in the evening, and this time it was me and Colin together. And when we got up to leave, Tom did what I would be so angry if Colin did that in front of me, but in front of his wife and in front of my husband, said as we got up to leave that my ass looked great in my bottoms. His wife Anne instantly says to us, he's too old to prosecute for sexual harassment. And I'm like, anybody in the UK that knows Jimmy Savile, he was dead and prosecuted. So Tom Davis, or John, aka John Davis, which isn't even his real name. And now I've done so much content, I can't remember what I've gone over with you or what I haven't. So his name really isn't Tom Davis, it's actually John Davis. Anne's name really isn't Anne Davis, it's Sylvia Anne. And she uses the two different names of Davis and Cunningham. On her website it's Davis. On her documentation over here it is Cunningham, but she also has other letters with Cunningham Davis. And in fact it gets really shady and weird at the bank here in or actually Philveston-Mare. It's literally just two towns right beside each other. So we're in Arborville, and then a 2-minute walk takes you into Philveston-Mare, which is the beachfront down here. And in the bank, her son is registered as her husband. And I think that is really weird because he doesn't even live here, he lives in the Netherlands. And that is a point that I completely forgot to mention on any of my videos. I have never had my emails hacked as many times in my entire life until I came to the Cour de Grange. In September, it was 6 times they were hacked. October, which we're now in, they were hacked 13 times. And it didn't end there. So as we go through the months, I'll continue on with those. But yeah, been hacked. Was able to locate the IP address, the physical address, properly registered to Anne Davis, not Anne Cunningham and not Sylvia. So it's strange why they both have different names, and that Tom has admitted to being arrested 22 times. So, and he doesn't go back to the UK. So, can he not go back? Those are relevant things that I think you should know, because if I had known them, I would not have come here. So, the code words. Anybody that thinks of coming to the Court of the Grange needs to know Anne's rules and her code words. She has code words and rules. If she invites you to her house and she uses the code words of, I need to feed the chickens, I need to put the chickens to bed, would you like a glass of orange juice? You are not supposed to accept the glass of orange juice. They're your code words to get up and leave immediately. And on the night that me and Colin were there, just before Tom said I had a great ass, or looked great in my bottoms, we were sitting and we knew Anne wanted us to leave because she has this really insatiably rude habit. When she wants to, she has her whole body change, her facial expression change. It goes from, you little smile, aren't you nice, aren't you cute, I'm an old and innocent little woman, to, and literally like goes forward as she's sitting on her seat, and she'll like scowl at Tom or whoever she wants to leave. I'm done entertaining you now, it's time to go. And I'm like, a gracious host invites you and is kind to you while you're in their home. doesn't like, okay, I'm bored now, you go, and I can be rude to you because I want you out of my house. That is insane. I have never ever been to anybody's home and seen this or treated this. And I come from Northern Ireland. I come from Oma, and trust me, people are very rude there, which is why I'm here. And I've never experienced. And for somebody who thinks you're so upper class, um, like her daughter went to some fancy drama school, yet now she's supposed to be in the Dole and hasn't worked as an actress in years, which is actually what many people here thought her problem with me was. Although she's rude to everybody and mistreats absolutely everyone who comes here and scolds them and feels free to, like, just talk to them like, or talk to us like we're dirt. Her issue with me, apparently, that everybody agreed on, was the fact that I am an author, screenplaywright here in France, trying to get my movie made. Now with this new turn of events with the lockdown, like, everybody's business is on hold. We don't know what's going to happen now with that. But that's what the premise of moving here was. And her daughter used to be an actress, and I don't think she's acted near enough my whole entire lifetime. And because I've got that, she always has to, like, oh, my daughter did it, and oh, you were in a mag, oh, my daughter was in a magazine, oh, but my daughter, and it's always like, no matter what, she asks you what you've done, or anybody would say what I've done, because I would never talk about my own work. I don't talk about that stuff with people. So if they've looked me up and found something, or a magazine article, or a radio conversation, or whatever, and it'd be brought up, and she'd be like, oh, well, my daughter did better. Well, I can do that better. I can do it better than you. And I'm like, okay. Well, I don't need to get into an argument with it. If they want to believe that, they probably could do it better than me, then do it. Don't be living on this property thinking that you're own some estate, that you've the right to then, mistreat people left, right, and centre just because it makes you feel good and glorifies yourself, and then complain about being broke. But still say, oh, I'm such a snob, I only eat quality food, I only wear cashmere. Anybody that can't afford that, still, oh, you're just like beneath me. And she really does behave that way, and that's not an exaggeration. And that's when you say that every single day, and everything's is determined on an accent, because it determines if you're posh or not. What school you went to, that determines if you're posh or not. All of these things, it's just so immaterial, and I just don't have time for people like that. But I very quietly went past. I didn't make an issue of any of that. I just thought, God, I'm so glad I'm not that way inclined. So my cooking was the other thing that was established that pissed her off, was because she isn't a trained cook, but she cooks food. Personally, I don't like her cooking, but that's neither here or there, and that's not being nasty or cruel to her. I really just don't. She cooks things, overcooks them, and things are just not nice. But that's a personal preference. My husband had the same kind of opinion on that. Um, but I cooked stew for Dave when he was here in October, and Tom had some, and he had dumplings, and he loved the stew and the dumplings. And Anne was furious, absolutely furious, because she was like, I cannot get that man to stop talking and ranting about how good your stew and dumplings were. He keeps saying it's the best stew and the best dumplings he's ever had. And I don't make that. I will not make it for him. He wants me to make it for him, and I will not do it. And she would never allow him to eat my food again until Christmas. And then that's a story and a half that we'll get to. What else have we got here? Christmas. That was definitely the worst Christmas I have ever had. I've never spent a Christmas like that in my life, but we'll get to that. Campers, the discrimination is what I wanted to get. It's really important. They have a big field here where I'm sitting in at the minute. It's pretty big, and they lease it out on their website as, coming with amenities like shower, hot water and kettle, and blah blah blah. They'll take the money from the campers, but they will not put on the hot water so they can shower. One, she says she will only lease as campers to the French. She will not lease her accommodation to the French because they're filthy, dirty people and they don't bathe. And then she says that she will only have them as campers, but she will refuse to put on the hot water so they can have a shower, because the majority of them don't shower, according to her. So she's not going to waste electricity money. However, the price in which that they pay to camp here is all for the amenities that they promote on their website. So false advertising right there. Discrimination. They will not have black people or people of colour on their property. They will not lease to them. They will not lease to gay people or homosexuals of like whether it's women, men, or whatever, they don't want them here either, which is also discrimination and a legal offence and has been for many years. Um, Americans and Canadians. They will not lease to Americans and Canadians unless they're absolutely desperate for money, and then they will. But then they did with Joe, who's a Canadian, talk bull behind their back, and as they've done now between me and Colin and Barbara and Simon, try to pin two neighbours against each other. And in addition to all of that, they're the ones stirring the pot and causing the disharmony and then blackening other people's names. But they will not have homosexuals, black people, or people of colour, and certain nationalities. And she doesn't like Irish accents, and she has given me such a hard time about my accent. And she said, even though I'm an author and I'm doing my audiobooks for my new book, when it comes out, hopefully later this year or early next year, depending on lockdown, I don't know again. She told me straight I can't do the audio for my own book because she is a BBC accent, so she needs that job. She wants me to give her the job of doing that. And my accent's just so horrible as being Irish. It's just, oh, that's horrible. And she doesn't like the Irish people because we're just bog stupid Irish. And she claims she's never been to Ireland. So that's as far as the discrimination go. I'm up in 11 minutes. I need to get this up, otherwise I'm going to have YouTube trouble again. So thank you again for tuning in and staying with me. I will not be doing any more videos for the day. I am exhausted in this heat. I will finish, if there's anything I forgot about October, I will finish it tomorrow. If not, we'll be moving into November. So I will see you soon. Stay blessed and au revoir.